Hello!
Hello there.
Hello again. Here we are.
Episode 3.
3 or 2, depends how you count. Because the first one was 0.
Oh, well, yeah, that is true. The first one was a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, still counts.
Well, it's the third time it's the third time we're
yes.
here anyway.
So how do you feel after first 2?
Feel alright?
You like it?
Yeah, it's alright.
I like it too. It's cool.
Oh, you like it, yeah? That's good. You're just on camera, aren't we? Recording a conversation that we're having. That's all it is.
Yep.
So tell me, what are we talking about this week?
Today, we're going to talk about the perspective, perception, point of view, whichever we want to call it.
Right.
It's a very, very wide subject. There is a lot to capture, so we'll basically talk about anything that will come straight to our mind, as it is. And as we spoke on the beginning, we want to improvise, we want to keep it natural, as we normally would have a conversation about.
Yeah.
But the difference now is that we are in front of camera in the form of podcast.
Do you feel any different when we're talking?
No, not really.
You think conversations have been the same as they were when we first started chatting in the sauna?
I think so. There might be a little bit aspect of of being stressed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's something new environment. But remember when we first met in sauna, for example, or in the gym, it's the same. You don't know the person you see first time.
No, that is true. That is true.
And it takes a while to get to know someone and find out, what offends that person. Is that person good for me or not? Do we have a nice flow or nice conversation, or we hate each other? Never know.
There was never the worry that what I said was going to be put on camera, though.
Well, that's another aspect. But once you familiarize yourself with the camera, it makes no difference actually. It's just being recorded, and then you can. It doesn't only stay in your memory. Like, let's say we were talking about something, but we didn't record, we didn't write it down. We just had a conversation, and I memorized that you've said this and that. You've memorized that I said something else, and then we may have an argument. Yeah. With that, the good benefit is like, oops, it's been recorded. I said what I've said.
That's it. It's on
no escape from responsibility
for the whole world to judge. Interesting.
Yeah.
So perspective of what? Do we have a dictionary? What does the word? What does the dictionary define the word? How does it define the word?
Because we're using my phone as a camera and we're using screen to see ourselves.
I don't want to get my phone out. I just don't think it's a good look. I'll have to bring a dictionary.
Well, we don't need definition. How do you feel? It's like, the definition it's not really necessary,
Okay, so perception for me is how you see something.
Yes.
Right. Okay, that's how I see something. So perception of what? Perception
of everything, of your life. It's like many people I speak with on a daily basis, different conversations when I work, random people, and what is the truth? Like, someone is telling me, for example, about politics, that this happened, you have heard of this, we've heard of that. No, I don't care. It's not that I'm careless, it's just it's not my reality.
Right.
Like, people want to talk about some wars somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's not my reality. My perception. Some people may say like, "Oh, you should be more worried because what if war will happen to you?" But it doesn't happening to me.
That's it. But there's no point. There's no point worrying over something that's not happened.
Yeah. So
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah. So the subject we were touching last time about manifestation, law of attraction thing, popular terms.
That's it.
I see actually that, so this is my perception. Whatever you pay attention to, it's getting bigger and bigger in your life.
Right.
So if you are focused on let's say mention war, well, There's nothing else exists in your life. Just war, 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 and you're stressed. You're basically ruining your life. Do you live your life? You don't, because you're focused on somebody else's. Someone wants you to be focused on something.
Will you end up attracting it? If you're focusing on it, will you end up attracting it?
You may. If you see something like war is a huge thing, but I think that war, we would have to go through definition, but war can look differently. It can have. It's not only a field where people fighting each other, with the guns. War may be like between businesses, etc., etc., etc.
What about internal war? A war with yourself?
Internal war, yeah. White wolf, black wolf, for example.
Why? What's the white wolf? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's an Indian story.
What, Native American?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had that story.
The Red Indians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot that in English language you have the same word to describe Indians from India and Indians from America.
Yeah, which they called Red Indians, but they weren't actually Indians.
Yeah. In Polish language it's kind of funny because, we also, about Indians from India, we actually call them Hindus.
Hindus?
Not Indians, Hindus, yes.
Yeah.
But many people actually make that mistake, and they are not aware that there is a term Hindus, in Polish language. So they call them Indians.
Oh.
Where actually Indians are from America, according to Polish language, and in India, even though that country is called India, you have Hindu people. So
Interesting.
That's how we call them.
Yeah.
So if you know Polish language very well, you will never mistake Indians from America and Indians from India.
Right, there you go.
That's a simple test. It's hilarious when Polish politicians make that mistake, because that shows you who is running your country.
Who's running the country?
Uneducated person that doesn't see the difference. He thinks that Indians living in India. American Indians living in India.
Yeah, they could be very well educated in the Polish
education. They normally not. If you go to Poland, if you want to speak with politicians, you need a translator most of the time. But if you go to restaurant, and you speak with waiter will know English, German, French, Spanish, Italian.
That's good.
This is hilarious, and at least that's the Poland I've memorized. I've been here nearly 13 years now in UK, so yeah, Poland is quite funny country sometimes. Like things are upside down, but let's not touch that politics. Maybe it's just a perception again.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I've memorized. Some people have a different perception. I may disagree, we may argue, but that's what I see. Like people saying, like, "Oh, that's not truth." Well, apparently it's your truth, but your truth doesn't have to be my truth.
I get that. I was going to say yes, that's true, but yeah, I understand that.
What is truth then? What is real?
Well, I don't know. We're going to, like you say, one person can see something one way, you can see it a different way. So what their truth is may not necessarily be yours.
Yeah, exactly. So why then people keep arguing about some silly things? Does it really matter?
Because they believe it to be true.
Did we forget who we are?
Ego.
Probably. I've been listening to a very interesting podcast today that probably, it's not even a podcast. It was in Polish, so but I'm not gonna translate and I'm not gonna talk about it in depth because most people perception won't even allow to understand. But it was about different realms, let's say.
Different realms.
Different.
Like dimensions?
Different dimensions, yeah, let's call it that way.
Right, within this universe.
Look how many people believes in angels and devils. Yeah?
Right.
Where did that came from?
The Bible?
The Bible. Might do, but why it's been captured in Bible? Well, the book been handwritten by people, yeah?
Well, I imagine if there's a good, there has to be a bad, right?
Okay.
Because how can something be good if we don't know what bad is?
But that's the kind of perception again.
Yeah. Well, it's just not having an opposite, isn't it? You always need to have an opposite.
Oh, I have a good example. Many people believe or have a perception of egoism. Egoism, or actually, they use term selfish. Selfish.
Right.
So they say being selfish is something wrong. How come? Definition: taking care of yourself.
Well, that's it.
You can Google it out. Just taking care of yourself.
All right, but
how come it's bad? But we've been convinced by.
Yeah. Go on. We've been convinced.
We've been convinced that it's something wrong to take care of yourself. But there is another term that I never met personally a person that would knew that there is selfish and selfistic, and you can Google them both out. Yes. So selfistic is roughly the same, but you're taking care of yourself by, broadly speaking, abusing others.
Yeah, so they're the two words we get mixed up.
Yes.
So a person is selfistic.
Yes, but being selfish is
not a bad thing.
It's actually a good thing.
Self-care.
Yeah, self-care, self-development, self-growth.
So are you selfish?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, because you see, we've been raised, we've been mocked up to have certain beliefs, like quite common thing. Well, I will relate to Poland again. We've been teaching girls that the life is all about them being happy, themselves, being sophisticated. But nobody was teaching how to make sure that your man, your future husband, or your current husband is happy. They don't care. They are so
fixated.
Yes.
On themselves.
There is a different term actually. How do they call it? When someone is so obsessed about himself, herself.
Speaking of man and woman, what's your perception on a happy marriage?
Well, definitely not happy wife, happy life. So that's a good example. That's the good example. Many people say, I'm looking at my second half. And you know what my response is?
I'm looking
for a second half.
Oh, he's looking for a second half.
Yeah, second half.
Yeah, he or she.
Well, in Poland, we say half for a half-liter bottle of vodka.
Right.
So basically, if you go to Poland and you said, I'm looking for a half,
they're going to get you a
everyone will be thinking like, oh, you want a drink? You want to drink vodka?
Yeah.
No, I'm looking for a second half. You want two bottles of vodka, And basically, when someone's saying that, I'm looking for my second half, go to a alcohol store, and you will find second half.
Okay.
The first one, and then so that's a kind of a joke, quite common in Poland. But there is no such things, and like being a half. I don't like that statement. So again, it's a perception. So many people making that statement that, I'm looking for a second half. Why do you believe that you're just a half? That you're half full or half empty?
Well, is it, again, going back to the Bible, because man and woman become one. Yeah? When they unite, when they get married, they become one. So without each other, they're a half.
What if that translation been broken?
Mistranslated.
Yeah. And on top of that, who was first? Adam, yeah?
Yeah.
Eve was created from Adam,
rib.
from his rib, yeah?
Right.
That explains a lot. Probably God asked him, Adam, you need to sacrifice your leg. What will I get for a rib? Well, here we go.
Well, we got a woman out of it. We got laid out of it, I think.
So, again, it's a silly joke. Many people will get triggered, and maybe that's the key. Of running successful podcasts. For now, we're just practicing and experiencing.
That's it.
You see, you actually get more audience, and when people get triggered.
Yeah, because it becomes controversial and it spikes people's emotions.
Well,
is that what it is?
That's how it works. It's all about perception. So somebody's perception is, I disagree with you. And they will debate on that. And you don't even have to be involved. There's another, it's a kind of joke as well. Like, a student comes to master, how can you be so calm? It's like, I just don't argue with people, But that's not the truth. You're right.
It's good.
You just don't argue. You just keep your peace of mind. You select your opponents wisely, If you're taking every battle that happens in front of you,
you're gonna be flipping worn down. Yeah,
you're just wasting energy.
I agree with you.
Always ask yourself: is it worthy for me to take that challenge? Someone is, I don't know, you drive in the car and someone is trying to demonstrate something in front of you.
Yeah.
Will you pay attention? Will you start fighting? Just ignore that person. Will get bored and drive away.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a very good approach.
Yeah. So, how do you respond instead of reacting? If you
don't
react. You
don't respond. Just ignore it. Treat it like non-existing.
Sometimes you respond before you even realize what's happening.
So you have to make sure that person understood that you didn't respond. It's somebody's perception, again, perspective.
Interesting.
Truth. Oh, that's my truth. He offended me.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Nobody can offend you. You are the master of your brain. So if you say that, I've got offended, did you? Or maybe you think that way, that someone said something that you struggle to accept. Someone said something that, hurts your feelings, emotions, whatever.
And is that possibly because there's truth in it? What this person has said? There could be truth in what they've said, which is why the other...
So that's the wise thing, we should be thinking about it in our head. Like, why am I feeling that way?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because someone just said the word, the word, and why does it touch me? It's just the word. Someone called me stupid. Am I stupid? Do I see myself stupid?
Well, sometimes we could do stupid things. If we do stupid
things,
things,
this is the learning curve. That's how you learn.
I'm not well. I've got your cold from last week.
My cold. I'm still recovering from that. I'm coughing like a 70-year-old man.
Is it this norovirus or whatever?
I have no idea. Something is flying around.
Serious, yeah.
How can we know?
I thought it was hay fever.
No. How can we know why we get ill if they keep spraying some crap above our head?
What? When the planes go across?
Come on, don't tell me you've never noticed that that you have like perfectly parallel lines.
Yeah, the chemtrails.
That's how they call them. So we don't know what is that.
Well, that's your perception. Your perception of those trails is that we're being sprayed with stuff.
Well, yeah. Maybe if I will. So you see, many people don't believe that because they don't notice that. They pay no attention to that.
I thought it's just people going on holiday and that's the plane taking them.
Yeah. No, not really.
How do you know?
So where we live, we have the airport.
Yeah.
But it's closed. Yeah. So.
There are other airports, Manchester, going across.
And you think they're all flying like parallelly next to each other?
I don't know. Maybe they got air flights.
Yeah, usually they fly
flight path.
Usually they fly very, very high. First of all.
Yeah.
Higher than these planes.
Right.
Moreover, they're not flying next to each other. They're flying one after another with quite longish distance from each other. But they don't do parallel lines. And well, when you were a child, do you remember those lines? I don't.
I never really paid attention to it.
I've never really seen that. Well, come on, you've been like 5, 6, 7 year old. You've been painting, You've been painting sky, clouds.
Did you ever put a plane in there with the chemtrails?
Exactly. Have you ever seen so many planes?
No.
And you see, we are being mocked up. We are being convinced that it's a passenger plane and this is a condensed condensed trails. But they're disappearing straight after a plane.
Right.
This one. I'm driving all day long, so I see this one just stays there, getting spread and turned into clouds within a few hours.
And then the cloud rains or whatever.
Yeah.
Water comes out of the cloud, and that comes.
I have a glass roof. I can see it very clearly.
Ah, of course.
I see planes flying like 3, 4 planes parallelly next to each other, and sometimes I see them like they just turn it on. Like, there's a plane, little plane. I can see it, but there is a little plane because you see at certain hours during the day, when the sun is quite low behind the horizon, so let's say it's getting dark or it's still dark and it's getting brighter, the sky is actually already bright, so whatever is in the sky you can see it very clearly at that times of the day. Twice a day 2 times a day you can see it very clearly, and whatever they leaving behind, it's like a silvery thing, it's reflecting,
Okay, so that's.
I was trying to get some information about the subject, but nothing serious. So you see, even now it's a perception, but we're touching something called conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But again, this is the perception. Someone came up with that term.
Conspiracy theorists.
Yes, because there was conspiracy, and there was some people that knew there is a conspiracy, and they wanted to make everyone aware. Listen, people, there is a conspiracy, And someone said, let's call him conspiracy theorist. Nobody will believe him. Let's make him look stupid, and nobody will believe him.
Now, if that person was correct, the conspiracy theorist, if they were correct, that means that everyone else were the real conspiracy theorists because they believed what they were being told by whoever, or they disbelieved him.
So a term like that being coined to make people look stupid, to make them look ridiculous. And there's many other terms like this, look in the last 5 years how many names they had to come up with. A flat earther, thin foil rod. It's like, why?
Is the Earth flat? Do you think the Earth is flat?
Do I think?
Yeah.
It's a huge subject.
What? So yes or no? Do you think the Earth is flat?
I don't want to sound like politics, but both sides are right, and both sides are wrong at the same time.
Jesus. So, a short answer, yes or no? Do you think the Earth is flat?
Well, there is no answer for that question. There is no answer.
Listen, you got a gun put to your head, and someone said, "Do you think the Earth is flat? Yes or no?"
Still, I cannot answer.
So even if they take a bullet in the brain.
Well, if that's somebody's wish, to kill me, well, that would be stupid, to kill someone because of.
I'm trying to get an answer out of you.
Because of somebody's perception, Well, actually, it happened multiple times in the history that people were doing stupid things like that because of somebody's opinion, But you see, technically, Copernicus didn't prove anything. Didn't come up with any evidence when he released his book. When he was alive.
Who's this?
Nikolai Copernicus.
Right.
He was Polish, and I was kind of fascinated about him because I'm Polish too.
Of course.
So when I was going to school, I was fascinated about planets, about everything that Copernicus.
Planets.
Yes, about.
So Elon Musk is on about going to Mars. Does that fascinate you?
It's impossible.
To go to Mars?
Yeah.
Why?
I've been watching endless amount of videos about that subject, and yes, something. I think it's truth, but at that stage, I would say it's my truth because I have no evidence to prove the point. But it's a sphere, but it's also flat, and you have to connect the dots now. How is that possible that it's both?
What, Mars?
No, the Earth.
Yeah.
And why it is impossible to get out.
Oh, can't get out of it, the Earth.
No, nobody ever been in so-called cosmos.
I thought we'd been to space though, right?
Well, when you are high enough, yes, you can create something that you can call there is no gravity.
Right.
Like let's say you're flying with very high altitude and then you're starting falling. Like, good example, you can experience that on the ground. In England you have a lot of small bridges. They are very, they are very short. Basically,
yeah, a humpback bridge.
Yes, something like when you're driving with fast enough through that, you can feel like no gravity for a split second. You know, when you just go, it's like whoa, and then you sit down back to.
Yeah, it's like a little roller coaster.
Yes. So what they do, they do the same with plane, but plane have to go high enough to create that, to generate that effect, and that's what people experience. That's what you can see on the videos, where people getting on a special plane, and then they like floating on that plane for some period of time, but it's not a space. You don't need a spacesuit for that.
Okay. But going back to the question, do you think we've been to space?
No.
Right, have we been to the moon?
Goodness me, you're gonna create me a conspiracy theory now, theories now. People gonna laugh, but no, I don't think the moon is what it is. Because there is too many question marks. Why we've never seen the other side of the moon?
Right. Is it not because of the way we rotate around each other?
And you really think that you could
the moon rotates around us, doesn't it? That's yeah. The moon rotates around us, surely. So it's the same.
I don't remember who said that.
Oh no.
But
Earth's also rotating.
So look, they're coming up with explanations so tricky, so complicated, so hard to believe, and they tell us that when we're young, when we're in school.
Yeah.
And then when you grow up, you take it as a truth, whatever they told you during the education system, and it's very easy to convince you that it's truth. But then when you believe that it's truth, it's nearly impossible to reverse that process, because you will forever think that this is the truth. So here's the story. So do I believe whatever the shape you think it is? I don't. I was believing that it's a sphere, and it went so far. There's so much evidence that even NASA stated recently it's more like a pear shape, because when you know the size of the continents and you start putting them in the real size on the globe,
right,
the math doesn't math anymore.
The math.
Africa is huge. It doesn't fit on that ball.
Oh, so
doesn't fit.
So they're saying that the Earth, it might not even be round.
So they came up with idea that the whatever is on the north, like Europe, etc., it's basically it's like on the top of the pear, and then it's get bigger, and that's where Africa is.
Well, the pictures taken from space show that the Earth is round.
Yeah, but the thing you don't know no single picture is a real picture, is a real photograph. They are all CGIs. You know what CGI stands for? Computer generated image.
Right, yeah. Yeah, like Hollywood.
That's why all these, through entire history of publishing those pictures, they're not even calling them photographs, they're calling them pictures, yeah?
Right.
What is picture? Well, you can paint something.
Right,
it's a picture.
Okay.
Yeah?
Oh, actually, I used the wrong word. The photographs. Photographs of...
But they don't call them photographs.
Oh, well.
It's the same like during COVID. Nobody was calling V word. They were saying job, shot.
Well, what's the V word?
I don't want to use that because I'm not sure if YouTube wants...
yeah, the V word. Yeah. The next letter is the letter A.
Yes, yeah. So they wasn't using V word until they changed the definition of V word.
Right. And what did they change it to?
So, well, they had to change definition because by old definition you have to have live virus in it.
Jesus.
If you don't have live virus, well, it's no longer V, yeah?
Right.
And in the latest one, there is no virus, there was some protein, spike protein. So it doesn't match to definition anymore, yeah?
Oh, I don't know. It's all...
So they changed definition and now they can call it by this word.
Yeah.
So you see...
Whatever happened to COVID?
Hmm?
Whatever happened to it? It just disappeared, right?
Well, yeah.
One day it was all over the news.
You remember
the next day it wasn't.
Putin invaded Ukraine, you know, after running war for like 8 years because it started in 2014
in Crimea or whatever.
Yeah, and suddenly, you know, it's got refreshed again. Like they invaded them again. When you logically thinking person, you will see that what is that all about? You know, something doesn't match. One thing doesn't match to another. You know, it's all BS. You know, it doesn't fit.
What doesn't match?
The informations they're giving to us.
Right.
So, but again, it's a perspective. So that's how you create. Well, so we can continue actually the subject from the last episode where we were talking about gratitude journaling, manifestation, etc., etc. That's how you create the reality you want to see. And people in power, they know how it works. They know exactly how it works. They masterize the system. That's why they control the mankind. Because they know how to create what they want to create. You want to create war? Well, if you convince enough amount of people to believe that there is a war, they will imagine themselves a war. But if you will go to you country, that's the translation from Polish to English.
You country.
You.
Yeah.
Letter U. You country.
Oh, you country.
Yeah, that's how we call that country that borders with Poland. You country.
Oh. What? Right. You country. And what country is it? What do we call it here?
The one that is in a state of war. I just translated the name of that country from Polish language to English. If that will be direct translation, that will be you country.
Right, I see.
So I'm using some alternative name because I don't want to feed scripts on YouTube, AI bots and stuff like this. Let's make them work a little bit harder.
Yeah, you country.
Well,
interesting.
Yeah, so it's all perspective. So you see, enough people have been convinced that there is a war, and when you speak of war, when you hear that word, what do you imagine in your head?
Like
people fighting, dying, killing each other,
soldiers.
Et yes,
soldiers on the front line.
You think that's what's happening over there?
Well,
in some areas, yes.
Yeah, I do.
But this country is huge.
Which one?
And soldiers fighting in some small areas.
Yeah.
Rest of the country, 80% of country approximately, there is no war. People running normal life.
In your country?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we see. Let's say this is my perspective. This is not factual, But what we are being told in this country, it's like terrifying things are happening all over, etc., etc. But in fact, it's all business.
You know, if we joined the U Country Foreign Legion and took our cameras with us, we could probably get more subscribers.
I don't want to go there. You see, with people from that country, we don't like each other. I mean, people from over there are genetically mixed. This is not pure race. Oh my God, we could talk for multiple hours about that. But if you look back to history, that country never existed. It exists maybe 20, 30 years on the map. That's it.
What was it before then?
Russia.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Right, that's why...
Well, and before that, it was Polish-Lithuania Commonwealth.
Right.
That was a huge country. If you look back 500, 600 years ago, that was huge, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Slavic nations were powerful for centuries.
Well, there you go. Look, how would you feel about wrapping this up?
Wrapping this up. So, well, yeah, probably we'll continue because, we wanted to capture perspective, without having a specific plan on it.
Yeah.
Because our idea is to keep that conversations natural, without pulling the phones out and this is the definition, that's what it is, this is the truth. Well, look, but again, this is somebody else's truth. Who wrote the definition for that?
And look, we've learned that we've got a different perspective on things.
Oh yes.
Because I'm very much of the fact that the earth is round. Whereas you...
It is to a certain degree.
Exactly, you're a little bit here, a little bit there, it depends, right? But I've also bought into the fact that we've been to space and...
So what changed? And I still struggle with that. What changed? At some point of my life, I was working in the glazing industry.
Right.
Back then it was quality control, but I was using my engineering skills, I had to do some calculations, perspective, etc., etc. And one of my mates challenged me. Right. And I said, of course it's round, prove it. Sure thing, Right. So I was doing some calculation, how high regular planes go, where should I see horizon, and I made a lot of calculation.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And nothing fit.
Nothing fit. Go out to sea on a clear day, and if you can see the horizon, you can see the curve
from the ground.
Yeah, I've seen it myself. I've seen it myself.
Well, sure, you see what you want to see. Yeah, that's how it works. So that's what.
I use my sleeve.
So that's the wrap up. That's that's the core. That's the perfect point. You see what you want to see, what you believe. So your truth is in there. If you think that's truth, that's what you're gonna believe. Now you understand the perspective, perceptions, think, and stuff like this.
Interesting. Right.
They say seeing is believing, but also believing means seeing.
Yeah.
If you believe in something,
you will see it.
You will see it.
Interesting. All right, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Thank you for another.
Thank you for watching, and see you next week.
All right then.
And leave some comments.